Those who will escape the matrix in the next for years will watch until the end.
To take the soul away from people.
What do you think started the pathway towards increasing censorship?
Come here. Come on, a little closer. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. Trust me, if you want to know how global warming come about, then I'll show you in this last clip. So stick around to the end, and I'll show you. You're going to want to see this one. Let's get straight into it.
Keep your hands off my fucking car.
Yeah, right.
Prick. You think about what a car stands for. It's like radical autonomy and privacy. That's the problem too with the centralized control systems on cars now. You know, we'll help you out with your OnStar. It's like, yeah, you'll govern where I can drive. You'll govern how fast I can drive. You'll end up bloody well reporting me if I exceed 55 and destroy the planet. No, I really don't like those centralized control systems at all. I think they're a big mistake because as soon as they're put in, it's like those centralized control systems for people's home heating. Well, we'll help you save on your bill. It's the same with digital currency. It's like, we'll make a national digital currency and then we'll tax everything that you purchase that we think has a carbon load. And that's, you know, you can just bloody well be sure that the behind the scenes globalists are just rubbing their hands about that. So can you imagine what would happen if the government could track everything you bought? Jesus Christ.
Is that wrong, is it? Control, full control. One world, government, the cars, all the electric cars that could have stopped at any minute. Everything's going to, that makes me skin crawl. No, let's stay away from it. Can you imagine the people in America, these gun toting, pickup truck driving Americans are going to say, yeah, here's that electric vehicle, or anyone who's of an old school nature. The roar of the engine, and me personally, I'm not into cars, but people, you know what I mean, I get it. All the memories you have, the building with the dads, etc, etc. Yeah, take it, give me a Tesla, get a grip. No one wants your bullshit. Well said, Jordan Peterson, well said.
It's an announcement that you did about content moderation. How has that been received?
Probably depends on who you ask, right? But you know, look, I mean, I've been working on this for a long time, so I mean, you gotta do what you think is right. You know, we've been on a long journey, right? I mean, it's I think at some level you only start one of these companies if you believe you give people a voice, right? I mean, the whole point of social media is basically, you know, giving people the ability to share what they want,
Right.
And you know, it goes back to, you know, our original mission is just give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected.
What do you think started the pathway towards increasing censorship? Because clearly we were going in that direction for the last few years. It seemed like we really found out about it when Elon bought Twitter, we got the Twitter files, and when you came on here, and when you were explaining the relationship with FBI, where they were trying to get you to take down certain things that were true and real, and certain things they tried to get you to limit the exposure to them. So it's these kind of conversations, like when did all that start?
Yeah, well look, I think going back to the beginning, or like I was saying, you start one of these if you care about giving people a voice. You know, I wasn't too deep on our content policies for like the first 10 years of the company. It was just kind of well known across the company that we were trying to give people the ability to share as much as possible, and issues would come up, practical issues, right? So if someone's getting bullied, for example, we deal with that, or we put in place systems to fight bullying.
Right.
You know, if someone is saying, hey, you know, someone's pirating copyrighted content on the service, it's like, okay, we'll build controls to we'll find out content. But it was really in the last 10 years that people started pushing for like ideological based censorship. And I think it was two main events that really triggered this. In 2016, there was the election of President Trump, also coincided with basically Brexit in the EU and sort of fragmentation of the EU. And then, you know, in 2020, there was COVID. And I think that those were basically these two events where for the first time, we just faced this massive institutional pressure to basically start censoring content on ideological grounds.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when it first came up in 2016, did it come under the guise of the Russian collusion hoax?
And this is the thing. At the time, I was really sort of ill prepared to kind of parse what was going on. Right? It's you know, I think part of my reflection looking back on this is I kind of think in 2016 in the aftermath, I gave too much deference to a lot of folks in the media who are basically saying, okay, there's no way that this guy could have gotten elected except for misinformation. People can't actually believe this stuff, right? It has to be that there's this kind of like massive misinformation out there. Some of it started with the Russia collusion stuff, but it kind of morphed into different things over time.
Well, it was so ideologically polarizing, right? Like people didn't want to believe that anybody looked at him and said, this should be our president.
Yeah, so I took this and just kind of assumed that everyone was acting in good faith. And I said, okay, well, there are concerns about misinformation. We should, just like when people raised other concerns in the past and we try to deal with them. Okay, yeah, people, if you ask people, no one says that they want misinformation, so maybe there's something that we should do to basically try to address this. But I was really worried from the beginning about basically becoming this sort of decider of what is true in the world, right? That's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service. And so we tried to put in place a system that would deal with it. And early on tried to basically make it so that it was really limited. We're like, all right, we're just gonna have the system where there's these third-party fact checkers and they can check the worst of the worst stuff, right? So things that are very clear hoaxes, that there's like, it's not like we're not parsing speech about whether something is slightly true or slightly false, like Earth is flat, things like that, right? So that was sort of the original intent. We put in place the system and it just sort of veered from there. I think to some degree, it's because some of the people whose job is to do fact checking, a lot of their industry is focused on political fact checking, so they just kind of veered in that direction. We kept on trying to basically get it to be what we had originally intended, which is just, it's not, the point isn't to like judge people's opinions, it's to provide this layer to kind of help fact check some of the stuff that seems the most extreme, but it just, it was just never accepted by people broadly.
Right, this lizard, Zuckerberg, if no one can see, please tell me if people can see that he's just trying to be more normalised and down to earth, growing his hair out again, getting a beard, going to the UFC. Yeah, he might be into the MMA, but he's like always showing his face more and more now. Now he's getting this new trim from his little Lego head he had, like it was spray painted on. Now he's grown his curls out. He's going on Joe Rogan knowing that it's got a big pop culture following around it. Do you know what I mean? It's the biggest podcast in the world. And he's up Trump's ass. You know what I mean? He's scrambling because they know Trump's not going anywhere, and Trump's going to get in. Like I'm English. I don't got nothing. I'm in no red or left or blue or red or that whatever. Left, right, red, blue means nothing to me. But they're all scared of Trump. You can see it a mile off. The assassination attempts, discredit everything, just trying to everything you can. And now when they know they're not going to get anywhere, they're all scrambling. And I seen Obama laughing with him the other day. Zuckerberg, he's up his ass, and now he's doing the rounds, isn't he? He's doing his social media rounds. Presto, Zuckerberg, so everyone can, and not to mention he's building his bunker. In fact, let's put the bunker clip in now. Let's have a look at this.
Investigation reveals that Mark Zuckerberg is creating a massive underground bunker worth $100 million in Hawaii. This is something that needs to be talked about, especially after Leave the World Behind came out, and the features on this house or underground bunker is absolutely wild. So years ago, he bought a massive plot of land that could fit 500 football fields worth $170 million. The land plus the construction makes it the largest private project ever. Property is covered by security guards and large walls, so no one can see what's being built, and all the workers are signed to an NDA, which is almost unheard of. Now let's get to the features. It will have 12 buildings and 30 bedrooms and bathrooms with 2 mansions that are connected by an underground tunnel that branches into an underground bunker. It's going to have its own energy, food, and water supply, a living space, a mechanical room, and an escape hatch that can be reached by a ladder. It'll be soundproof, they'll have blind doors that are operated by keypads, and it'll be made with metal filled with concrete, which basically makes it indestructible. The real question is, does Zuckerberg and all these other billionaires making bunkers know that something is coming, or are they just preparing for the worst?
But essentially, Zuckerberg, as we know, went down to Mar-a-Lago. He met with Trump. Make of that what you will. All of these techies now swarming Trump. What I make of it is that Trump should not be engaging in this. I don't like it. My gut intuition says a no-no, a no-go. Obviously, Trump's intuition is telling him something differently, but I have to speak my own mind and remain my own person. And now Zuckerberg has come out of that meeting and he's announced that he's getting rid of Facebook fact checkers. Now, you'll remember notoriously I sued Facebook and Zuckerberg because I lost, I'm not kidding, millions of dollars. Okay. That is how active my Facebook account was when they shut me down over telling the truth about COVID. They shut down my account for telling the truth about COVID. We went to court with them, and the court wouldn't even hear the case because half of these judges are bought and paid for. And essentially, the judge came back with a decision that said, well, we think that what the doctor said was true. And now time has passed, and the doctors were clearly wrong about the vaccine. And that was thanks to fact checkers who just lied. Full-time just lied and gaslit people that were having reactions to the COVID vaccine. And so Zuckerberg has come out and said, we maybe made some mistakes. We believe in more speech, and we're going to show you guys by getting rid of all these fact checkers.
Have you guys had enough yet? I've had enough. Let me give you my hypothesis on why our species is in such a dire situation in January 2025. I think for a long time we've allowed a slow creep of an assumption that the billionaire/trillionaire class, a very small wading pool, are qualified as experts in literally anything. These are self-appointed knowledgeable experts. Look at someone like Bill Gates. Oh, he's an expert on software and computers. Oh, and vaccines. Oh, and climate change. Oh, and digital currency and digital ID. It is a very small intellect wading pool when you're just looking at that wealthy class, right? The real talent in our species comes from the 99%, whether it be in sport or the arts or engineering or literature. Always has been. Probably because we're more genetically diverse, although their expertise may have put pay to that pretty soon. So they had their Event 201, these experts, where they pre-planned emergency management plans for pandemics, and then they engineered a pandemic and they still fucked it up. And all of their measures were found to be either ineffective or very, very harmful, right? Now, were I in emergency management planning, I would have cloud seeding planes ready to go anytime a brush fire, a bushfire, a wildfire, even just ignited. Just as a precaution, I would get planes up there, cloud seeding, getting ready for it getting worse, and I would soak an area that was at risk. But no one in emergency planning, despite massive budgets and endless departments on emergency planning, preparation, climate emergencies, they tell us constantly, because they own the media, that they're experts and they're planning and putting departments together, and in preparation, they take our tax dollars to do it, tell us how wonderful they are, and they write peer-reviewed papers on how wonderful they are. And then when the events occur, they fuck them up and people die. I think it's time we realize that allowing this small wading pool, genetically and intellectually, of billionaires telling us that they know best for 8 billion people, I think we need to start questioning that. Because they've shown us now, with healthcare and with emergency management, that they literally don't know what they're doing.
Billionaire class, what do they know? Bill Gates is not a doctor or a farmer, but he's involving himself in the V word, which I can't say on here because I've already been banned for a week, and farmland. We're just letting these people do it because they got money and everyone sees them as authoritative figures. How did they get away with it so long? Because no one questions them. It's getting to the point where everyone's questioning, the tide's turning. But what can we do? Really, what can we do? Help we can do something. Help people smarter than me and who have more resources and reach than me can do something, because it needs a full rig out. We need to just get rid of everyone. Capital in America, all the government, England, they're all corrupt. Keir Starmer, come on, weirdo. We need just to strip out and start again. Actual honest people who've not had handshake deals on the way up to the White House or on the way up to the number 10 Downing Street or places like that. Just a full rig out, get rid of them. We want them out. Let's make Britain great again, eh? That's all I'm saying.
He predicted, that towards the end of last century and the beginning of this century, there will be a movement driven by big corporations to take the soul away from people, to disconnect people from the higher world. on that, and amazingly what we found, the pineal gland is the most sensitive part of our central nervous system, and is highly, highly, highly sensitive to 4 things: aluminum, glyphosate, fluoride, and Wi-Fi. And we are the only country in the world that has pushed these 4 things in the last 60 years or so on everybody growing up here. And so what I feel, what I observe, and what we're also testing on our ART system is that people have severely calcified pineal glands. It is astounding that the telecommunications industry has selected the frequencies out of the huge spectrum of frequencies that are absolutely destructive to our cells, and especially to the pineal gland. You know, they couldn't have made any better choices than 2.4 gigahertz.
It shouldn't be no secret by now, the pineal gland is we're all getting dumbed down, and what else? Do you know what I mean? How many, you can lead a horse to water, people will not believe you. Just because, see, I like flat earth. No one else listens to me about anything else. I could literally say the sky's blue. Nah, you like flat earth. People need to get rid of all that. You've allowed a difference of opinion, especially on this channel. It's no one's here to judge. Just words, complicated earth, all like we always say. Move on. Move on. It's just not that deep. Do you know what I mean? We should all be one, all be together, and all fight for the same cause. It's ridiculous how they've got away with it so long. They're dumbing people down, left, right and centre. There's more and more people not scared to talk out who've got like health channels and stuff who are saying like, this is what you need to be taking rather than pills, stuff like that. This dumbs you down. You should have Celtic salt in your diet when salt's always been bad. And if you're a returning viewer from this channel, you know that we talked about margarine also. Same thing, margarine's bad for you, margarine's bad for you. No, it's not. Go back and watch my channel. Anyway. What on God's green earth for that? Just bite his head off or blow his head off? What happened there? I can't even bother researching it because it's just, is it Kai Snat and Drewski? Funny guy, I've seen him on Earth Field, one thing, but I'm not really a big fan of him, so I wouldn't know what's going on here. If it's a joke or not, but that's weird. And that's like a precursor of what really could happen, genuinely. Not like fearmongering, that really could happen in the future, the very near future. Well, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, here we have made it. I told you, promise you global warming. Take a look.